3 things as an entrepreneur. So the first one we just talked about was proximity, mindset, win-win. So no matter what situation you're in, to always think win-win. So even if it looks like the position is not in your favor, to have a positive mindset on that. So proximity, mindset, and think win-win. That's another reason why you're not successful, is because you're looking at how much money can be made and not how much impact can be made.
Impact, absolutely.
Don't chase the money, chase the impact. Because because at the end of the day, you have a lot of people who make money, but if it's not something that you're passionate about, once you make the money, you're no longer interested in it. Then you're trying to figure out what's next. So you have to figure out, where can I have a expertise and it yield longevity for me. As an entrepreneur, you have to be visible. And this is something that I really, really hound and teach my students, that, it's not always about who's the best. It's about who's the most visible. But also just getting out of your head. We talk about the mental part and the mindset piece. You have to really have a conversation with yourself to say, what is stopping me from taking my brand to the next level, right? Once you understand and you internalize that, then everything else is just going to kind of like fall into place.
Absolutely. Welcome to another episode of Access Granny, where I give you exclusive access to entrepreneurs that are killing it in their industry. Today, I'm super excited because I get to interview and just have some girl talk with my sister, Dr. Barnes. Welcome to Access Granny.
Hello.
How you feeling?
I feel great. I'm excited to be here. This is amazing. This is beautiful. Shout out to my girl, Coach K, Access Granny.
We just glued to the hill. We left Miami and,
I left Miami, came to the cold. We had crop tops and then we got on full length fur coats, but it's all right. We here.
I love it. So just thank you just for, you always pour into me. We met just a short amount of time ago, but you're like, sis, I got you. Like, what you need? How can I show up for you? How can I, what can I do to support you? Even my event in Miami, you're like, I'm on my way. What I got to do? And how can I help you in that space? And there are very few women in this space that just like, what can we do to collaborate, connect, and just align? So thank you for that.
I always say, and I even said this when I was in Miami, that's important to me, is it doesn't hurt to scoot over if you already have a seat at the table. Ooh. And that is a notion that I live by, because I feel like it's one of those things where we get caught up in ourselves once we start to make a certain amount of money, or we start to get in certain rooms, and we kind of forget that everybody needs a little assistance now and then. So that's good. I love that.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. So for those that don't know, who is Dr. Barnes?
Okay, so, that is a hardy question, because I feel like I've had 9 lives. I feel like I've done 1,000 things. I started off in the media industry almost 20 years ago. I went to Virginia State University, obtained an English degree from there. My master's degree is in public relations and media. So practical experience in PR, right? This is not just a hobby that I kind of crafted off of social media. So my background is in media and PR. And then I have a doctorate in educational leadership and supervision. When I graduated from Virginia State at 28, I was the youngest doctoral candidate to ever obtain a degree at that level from the university at 28. I was a classroom teacher for 10 years, but I was always organically like the dot connector, right? My cousin played professional basketball for like 17 years. And with that, I was like, he had his thing going on, then I had other things going on, but I was always the person that people called to kind of like organically connect the dots. So I was doing PR and branding without even like knowing that I was doing it. I was like involuntarily connecting it. And then it got to the point where I started making these connections. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I just connected you with the marketing director for McDonald's. Wait, I just connected you with, hold on, we got to figure this out. So that's kind of how I came about being in the PR space. Started working with Trina in Miami and a lot of different other artists and a lot of different brands, and kind of just took off from there. And that's kind of where we're at.
I love it. For those that don't know, and especially like me, right? We'll use me as an example. Okay. I was fired into freedom, right? And I didn't know that coaching would be what I would do. I didn't know that was the path I was going down. And so I just started Coach K. And, everybody's, some people don't land the opportunities that I've been very fortunate of doing, but I'm in a space now where it's time to build the brand.
Yes.
When do I know? What is a PR?
Okay.
People don't really know what a PR. So what is a PR? And then when do I know?
It's time to build your brand.
That it's time for me to bring somebody in to support me.
I'm glad that you made that reference of PR, right? So PR, if someone refers to themselves as a PR, you automatically know that that's a red flag, because you can't be a PR public relations is a service that is rendered by a publicist. So when someone says to me, oh, my PR, you can't be a PR. That's not a thing. That's a service that's provided by a publicist, right? So that's a red flag. So somebody says, my PR, do some more research on them, right? That's the first thing. But publicity, and especially in the landscape that we're in, is changing daily. The way that brands look at people, the way that you have organic PR, publicity, you have earned media, you have paid media. So it really just depends. But when your brand, you know that it's time for a publicist and or a team when you can no longer do the things that you want to do alone, right? So if you've tackled that local market and it's time for some national recognition, you want to grow your brand, then it might be time to reach out to a publicist and or someone who is a specialist in branding to kind of sit down, go over the scope of work and see what they can do for you and your brand. And also, it's very important when you're looking for a publicist or just anyone in branding to make sure that they are an expert in your field, right? Because you have publicists who focus solely on beauty, right? You have publicists who solely focus on cooking and or sports. So if I'm someone who's in the business space, I don't want a publicist who most of her contacts are solely focused on beauty, right? So you just got to kind of vet people out and do a little bit of research before you start reaching out to people to help with your brand.
That's really, really good, because that was my next question, right? So how do I vet? How do I find the right publicist that aligns with my mission and my impact? And how do I know, like, how to trust this person? Because I'm trusting you with my baby, my brand, my vision, my life, right? And so it has to be like an aligned connection, and they have to really like understand where I want to go.
And I also think for whatever space that you're in, find 3 people that you just adore, or 3 people that you're like, okay, this is where I want my brand to be. This is who I look up to be. So if you're in a beauty space and you want to look like if you're looking after like a Fenty Beauty or anybody in your space, look at the people that you look up to and look at the press that they've already earned, right? If you look at the press that they've already earned, look at the agencies that have helped them score that press. Then you reach out to them, have consultations with 3, and then see at that point in time who's in your price range and kind of go from there.
So that's another point I want to touch on. So most of the time when I think PR or publicist, I think a lot of people think the same thing. You have to already be the $1 million brand.
No.
And, I think sometimes you need this in order to get to the space of building a $1 million brand. Is that correct?
That's 1,000% correct. But you do have to have some type of like starting point, right? So it can't be like Boo Boo's House of Lashes and we have no sales, right? There has to be a space where you've already like dominated your market a little bit to the point where it's like, okay, I can no longer do this alone. And PR and public relations in this space, especially 2025, transitioning to 2026, is not just traditional media anymore. So that's why it's all the things. So if you see now, a lot of brands, it's not just about earned media as it used to be with like magazine covers and articles and press. That is not going to cut it now. You have to do immersive events. You have to do live workshops. You got to get online. You got to do content. Like, you have to do full-fledged branding with the public relations piece, because public relations alone is not going to help you sustain your brand the way that we're moving forward.
Oh, that's good. What I love about you so much is it's not just I can connect the dots, right? It's like, let me educate you. Yeah. You have a channel on Instagram that I'm in, and you're always like dropping information and gems, but you're also getting ready to start a community.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes. So I'm so excited. So we're about to start the brand Coinmunity, you guys, and coin currency, right? And branding. And the whole point of the brand Coinmunity is to connect branding and community and currency and branding. I have a women's fund as well, Eval's Equity. Eval's Equity is a women fund where we help female entrepreneurs, underrepresented female entrepreneurs, access capital for their businesses. But it's also like just a safe space for women entrepreneurs to just come and have girl talk and talk about the business things, because business can be a lot when you have motherhood and you're traveling and you have all these things. So we have Eval's Equity, we have the community side for that, but then I have Barnes Media Group, which is my public relations agency. So both of those things are my passion. But in this space and in this generation, I've done so much for myself and my personal brand. My mission is, how can I help more people? That's just solely where I'm at in my spaces. How can I connect more people? How can I connect my communities and the things I'm with people like yourself to come in and educate them So I'm super, super excited about the brand community.
That's going to be amazing, because I think that's sometimes that's the missing piece to a lot of puzzles, right? So sometimes other women entrepreneurs, or just entrepreneurs in general, they need to be around like-minded people.
Yes.
They need to have that coach or that mentor or the person who can support them. They need to be able to find an accountability partner. And sometimes your best friend or your homegirl or your day one is not the accountability person that you need. So you need to be in different spaces and communities and groups to find somebody. Yes. We have somebody inside of our community. Her name is Donna, and she found her accountability partner inside of our program. And she's like, this person is like a sister to me. Love that. Like, she just told me this a couple of days ago. She's like, she won her grant, and she's like, I haven't won a grant yet, but she won hers, and I felt like I won too.
It's also a space where you can be vulnerable. Because I feel like also with social media and just being in certain rooms, sometimes it could become intimidating, right? When you're around people that have already, made the 7 figures, made the 8 figures, and you're just starting out. So we want to create safe spaces where people say that, but we really want to create an environment that is safe, where people can come in and be vulnerable and say, listen, I had a business and it failed. What do I do? Or I want to start a business, I don't know how. Or I don't know how to structure my business, right? Because a lot of people have logos, but they don't have businesses. And that's what people need to understand. Not using the Zelles and the Cash Apps and the Venmos, and making sure that we're structuring our business properly so we are fundable. That's a whole nother conversation, because when we talk about branding, a lot of people have these businesses, but you don't know if you should be an LLC or a 501c3, or should I pay my taxes yearly? Should I pay them quarterly? So it's people in the community that are experts in that. Because why do we go seek after information when there's already someone who's already done it? You don't have to be the expert in everything. Be the expert in your niche and let someone else help you.
Absolutely. It's like these are all the things that I say all the time. Like, why try to put it all together when somebody's already done the work? Like The Who Not How. That's one of my favorite books, like by Dan Sullivan. Who can help you? You're trying to figure out, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to make this happen? Like, where's the who? Who can give me the shortcut to success? Who can give me, the blueprint, because they've already been through the hoops and the hurdles and the hardship. And that's really why I teach this, right? Because I know what it's like to be the entrepreneur with your back against the wall. I've maxed out credit cards. I took out home equity line of credit on my home, almost went into foreclosure. Like, those who know me know my story. So if I've already went through the hardship, why would you want to don't follow my struggle, follow my success. Correct. And so I love that you touch on that as well. You have and something else that I absolutely love about you have the Women's Fund. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about that. What made you even start a Women's Fund?
So one of the things that I noticed when people were reaching out to me for PR services was a lot of the issues that I found, especially with underrepresented, especially with females entrepreneurs, because we know as Black women or underrepresented women in the space, Black entrepreneurs, we are the most sought after entrepreneur. We make the most money. We have the most successful businesses, but we're the least funded. So when you start to look at the numbers are bottling, especially when we start talking about venture capital and all those different things. So for me in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, I love to cook. Like, cooking is something that I just do for fun. And I created a spice company called Expensive Taste Spice Blends. Because I feel like if you have expensive taste with everything else, you have expensive taste with your food. So it was super cute, and it kind of took off. I was making $10,000 a month from spices.
Wow.
Like literally. And it was one of those things where it was like, okay, you need to do a little bit more with these spices. But that's kind of how the Women's Fund came about, because people would come in and they would ask me how I would start these businesses, and they was, they would be in awe, but they would say, we don't have any money. Or we don't have access to money, or my credit is poor, or how can I do all these different things? So that's kind of where I created the community for women to come in, and we put grants in the community. I know I posted grants in there that you shared, and we share grants in the community. And it's just a safe space for women to be able to come and ask for help. 2024, we did a little over $200,000 in grants that we self-funded. We self-funded these grants ourselves. So we did, angel investing, or just different friends. Hey, we want to do a grant. What can we do? We did a $10,000 grant on Good Morning America. And the social impact piece is just, again, something that's super, super important to me. So want to do way more of that in 2026.
That's huge.
And just have a larger impact. We have a grant that we're currently working on, as you know, and we'll have the application out soon, you guys. So be ready. We're going to make sure that Coach K has it and her community has it, and just putting our heads together so that we can do the work that we can do. Because at the end of the day, that's all we can do is try. But let me tell you a little bit more about Evals Equity. So Evals backwards. Well, the slogan is where opposition meets opportunity.
Okay,
that's the slogan of our organization. And Evals backwards actually spells slave. A lot of people don't know that. And it spells slave. And the whole notion behind it is because as a slave, you were always forced with opposition and never had any opportunity. So that's where the slogan came from.
Girl.
Yes. I know, right? Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm like.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're so excited about what we have coming up.
I love what you're doing. I want them to hear it from, because I teach grants all day.
Yes.
All day long, all night long. I mean, free webinars on Mondays, challenges. But I think it's really good that you're here, because now my community, they watch every video I do, right? Yeah. But, and then we have the YouTube audience as well. But as a grantor and somebody who is actually giving out grant funding, what are some things that you're looking for in a solid grant application?
Okay, so the biggest thing is to make sure that your business is structured properly. So at least 1 year of business on paper. That's really, really important, you guys, to make sure we have at least 1 year of business on paper. And to have the documentation for your business. Whether it's, if you're saying you have a hair company and you've done X, Y, and Z, like we want to see the documents to prove. So that way we know that when we provide the grant and the grant is given out, that we're giving it to someone that can use it for, with the mission of the funds, with whatever the purpose of the funds are, we want to make sure that's what's going to. So making sure your ducks are in a row and making sure all your documentation is together is important.
That's good. Yeah. So I always I'm like, you guys, the business has to be structured properly. Like, lead with your impact. Yes. Nobody wants to invest into your hardship. Like people I have a grant that I give out, the legacy grant. I give it out every month. And what I'm noticing on some of these grant applications is that entrepreneurs are, and of course you want to share your story, but they're doing a couple of things. One, they're not answering it completely. Like they're answering it with like one word.
Oh no.
How are you going to use this $1,000? Marketing. I just need it. Simple things like that, right? So even when I do educate and I'm teaching them and I'm showing them that these are the things that you should have and this is what you should do, there are a lot of people who they highlight themselves more than they do their impact, the business and the impact. So I read one grant application and I promise 90% of it was about the business owner. And nothing highlighted the strength of the business and why the business needed the money or the funding. And I'm like, it was like too little, this much about you and this much about the parent rate. So you got to show and lead with your impact. So I love that they get to hear it from somebody who's actually giving out the grant funding.
Is for the business. It's not for the person. So we want to make sure, that's why it's so important that we vet out certain things, because we want to make sure that the funds are being used where they say they're going to go. And it's just important because capital is so hard to come by, especially now. And their opportunities are out there, but that's why they have coaches like you and, people like myself that kind of come in and help them. So that way, before it goes out to anyone else, we can vet inside what we're doing wrong before you go apply for those major grants. And because if you tell them that you're going to use the grant for marketing, if you're applying for like a Hello Alice grant or a Tory Burch grant, or they're not even reading the rest of that application. You're automatically disqualified. So we got to make sure.
I love that. I love that. Recently you spoke at my mastermind and you did they loved you so much.
That. I love your community.
Thank you. We love you. That. And I really want you to, I think everybody should. I know we recorded it, so we're going to have to put it out. But you talk so much about visibility and social proof and touch on, the importance of, building a brand and making sure that you're showing up. Because that's one of my things. Yeah. Like, I show up a lot, but I feel like there's still so much more I should do.
For sure.
So what are some things that entrepreneurs can do to just really build the brand?
So I think the biggest thing when building a brand is understanding that, yes, you're solving a problem. That's the biggest thing. Whatever niche you're in, you're solving a problem. So you, as someone who does grants, you're solving a problem for capital accessibility in the form of debt-free capital accessibility, right? So you have the business funding side, but yours is more so debt-free, right? So the biggest thing is making sure that you're solving a problem in your niche. But we want to make sure that we're selling the results and not the product. That's the biggest thing. So no matter what space you're in, you're selling the results, not the product. So if I'm someone who's in the fitness industry, I'm not selling a fitness product. I'm selling confidence, right? I'm selling, I got myself back, So if I'm in the hair care industry and I'm working on a hair growth oil, I'm not selling a hair product, I'm selling self-esteem. I'm selling all the things. So making sure we're selling the results and not the product. So I always teach people it's more like a reverse thing. Focus on what the results do versus what you're selling, right? That's the biggest thing, right? And then when we talk about the visibility piece, it doesn't matter what space you're in. I don't care if you're in grants, you're in business funding, you're in Airbnb. It doesn't matter what space you're in as an entrepreneur, you have to be visible. And this is something that I really, really hound and teach my students that, it's not always about who's the best. It's about who's the most visible. Mm-hmm. We know that content is king in the generation that we're in. And, it's about being seen. I know a lot of times people get imposter syndrome when they see certain things on social media, and it's like, well, dang, I know I can do that. And especially if it's someone in your niche that's executing at a high level, and you're like, I know I can do that. Well, what's stopping you from being the best? Is the visibility piece, right? Mm-hmm. But also just getting out of your head. We talk about the mental part and the mindset piece. You have to really, really have a conversation with yourself and say, what is stopping me from taking my brand to the next level, right? Once you understand and you internalize that, then everything else is just going to kind of like fall into place.
That's so good. That is so good. So the visibility is, I show up a lot.
Yeah.
Like
you have to show up.
You see me a lot, but I still feel like there's so much more that I can do. People look at me and they're like, Coach K, you're like in Atlanta every week. Yeah. But I'm like, Atlanta is just one small area compared to the whole world that's out there. And the Coach K brand has to be like a global brand.
And it will be.
It definitely will be.
And it will be.
Because I got the best right here next to me.
And we're going to, and another thing I want to say is one of my big brothers, Herman, Dulce, Philadelphia, I'm really big on business funding. I love Herman. And he's one of those, he's a straight shooter. Mm-hmm. And Herman's, one of his sayings is success has receipts. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important to vet these people out when you want to work with them or you are trying to do business with these people. Don't just look at what it looks like on social media. Like really vet people out to make sure that they are a expert in their field. It's like if I'm going to have knee surgery, I'm going to make sure that I have the best doctor operate on my knee. Like I'm not going to just look and say, oh, look, he looked like he did a good job on social media. No, I'm going to look him up. I'm going to do research. I'm going to make sure that I have the best of the best. So success has receipts, and just making sure we're vetting people out, because it doesn't matter what it looks like. Proof. What is the proof? Like I'm really big on proof. Like, can you prove to me that you're telling me what you're saying you did? That's important.
Absolutely. So that's so good. And in this space, people always are very cautious about grants already, right? Yeah. And so, they're like, is this real? Do I have to pay application fees? Do I have to hire a grant writer? Yeah. Which is why I started teaching it, because I realized that there's so many people in this space that realize that people want grant funding. They want grant money. Yes. And so they're taking advantage of the people who want this thing. And so I started teaching it like, hey, I'll show you how to do the exact thing, exact same thing that I'm going to do so you can go out and be successful. What's the saying? Like, I can teach you how to fish and you'll be able to eat forever. Yep. And so I show it, but I also like to show the receipts of the people who are actually doing the thing that I'm seeing online.
But the crazy thing is, me knowing you, you don't show enough receipts.
I don't show enough receipts because girl,
you got receipts. I know. I see some receipts.
Well, I always get
this didn't even make it. Like, what's going on?
I always get permission before sharing. There are some people like, oh, I'll share in the community, but I won't really share. I don't want you to show me on, to 400,000 people.
Can we brag on you for a little bit though?
Of course.
Can we brag on you for a little bit, Coach? Yeah. Because I have seen what you've done in such a short period of time, and it's amazing. And it's only because you're pouring into people and they feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And when people trust you, it's so big, because to date, how much we've got a lot of grant funding to date.
Yeah.
And we're really kind of just getting started. So,
millions, literally millions. Literally. But it's life changing. Like, seeing someone who, Miss Emma, who, is in Memphis, Tennessee, she's a school teacher, and getting access to $1 million in grant funding because of learning a skill and a strategy. And now she's able to go out in the community and really impact the community. It's really a life-changing, just life-changing information. Or, we had somebody, she's a 10-year-old young lady who just won a grant. She pitched on stage and won a grant. But she learned that information. Her brother is inside of our community. So she learned about grants from her brother who is learning about grants. But they went to AI, and AI taught them how to pitch their business. AI was their pitch coach. But it's information that you're learning, that the adults are learning and passing down to their kids. My daughter's 14 years old. She's in a mentorship program. I dropped a grant in their mentorship group for them to apply for. So from 12 to 17, you have young ladies applying for grants. I had no idea what a grant was at 14 years old.
The access.
Yes. Imagine what our girls are going to be able to do and what they're going to have access to, knowing that there's debt-free money out there for you to go start and do whatever the business is that you want to do. So I'm super excited about that. But thank you for giving me my flowers.
And you talked about the AI piece too. That's something that we incorporate heavy now in the branding space as well, because, you know, it's not just ChatGPT, but it's a lot of different AI softwares. And, you know, I have a book called From Prompt to Profit, and we literally teach people how to prompt the GPTs correctly to help build, because it's like your girlfriend. The more you talk to it, the more it knows about you, right? So if I'm talking to you on a daily basis, I'm going to be the one that's going to be the most reliable to tell your story. So that's how I want people to kind of look at using their GPTs. It's like, this is my friend. I talk to Cousin Chatty. I call it Cousin Chatty. I talk to Cousin Chatty almost every day, and if I'm talking to him, he knows my business. He knows how I move. He knows what I like. He knows what I don't like. But the biggest thing is, we ask in the branding space, I see it a lot of times, people are asking the GPTs the most basic information, and you can really, 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 really hone in if you have the information. It can be life-changing if you are using it correctly, but also manipulate it a little bit, because that's another thing too. Y'all be sending me emails and pictures. I'm like, y'all didn't even change the font.
Didn't change nothing. Just
copy and paste.
They're applying for grants and just
come on.
It still has the thing at the top. Here is a paragraph.
My God. Create me a grant paragraph in a 12-point font for Coach K for the Access Granted grant, and they're just sending it. I'm like, y'all gotta fix something, like a little something. But yeah,
no effort. So I love that you touch. One thing I teach all the time is you got to figure out how to incorporate AI in your business.
You have to.
So my AI, I named it Millionaire Bestie, because I only want to have $1 million conversations with you.
Correct.
Like we're going to use this we're doing pretty good, but we got to get up. Yeah, we got to get up. So only $1 million conversations. So I love that. So I think the first thing is naming it and creating that relationship. I tell people to treat it like an employee in your business. Like give it SOPs, systems and operations, and tell it what you want to be successful. But you have to incorporate AI into anything that you're doing right now. So you're incorporating that in
daily.
Yeah, I love it.
Everything.
What are some things that I can do to make sure that I'm prompting my AI the correct way?
So just depends on the niche that you're in. But just making sure that you're asking it high level questions. So whatever space that you're in, certain verbiage, and we teach all of those things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So because from a regular person just going in it like cold turkey, it would be like night. It's so difficult to kind of go in and be like, what do I ask it, right? What GPTs to use, because there's so many different ones to use. You have ones that are more so for reasoning. You have more so for logic. You have ones that are better, that will help with your graphics. So knowing which ones to use for what, and just kind of go from there.
That's good. That's really, really good. So we touched on it a second ago about us both being moms.
Yes.
Your baby's 6, my baby's
God,
14.
Yes.
And she's absolutely adorable. I love her. I need to
She
send her.
needs a grant.
She does.
She needs a grant. She needs a craft grant. This girl want to do arts and crafts every day.
Every day.
Michael's. Hit me up.
Michael's definitely has a grant.
Literally.
How are you balancing building a brand and, educating others and pointing to others, but still being, a mom, but also making sure that you show up for you as well?
Just understanding that she's the fuel behind it all. Like, she's the reason why I do what I do, and she's the reason I go so hard, because it's the exposure piece for me. When I was her age, I was exposed to so much at a very, very young age. So I was going to see the Pennsylvania Nutcracker for Christmas, and I was in dance, and I was playing tennis, and I was doing soccer. So I grew up like very well, but also just wanting my daughter to have that times 10, right? And understanding that all the other things are cool, but as long as you're kind be a kind person, be a nice person, because she's so cute, and it's good to be cute. We want to be cute, but we want to be kind as well, right? We want to be smart. So just teaching her all of those things, and just, she actually has her own brand called Amaya Skin.
I love it.
Amaya Skin is a brand that we started for her over a year and a half ago, and it does well. So we'll be doing more with that in 2026 as well. When my daughter was 4, she just got eczema out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. She just got eczema, and it's not bad, but it was like dry patches, like in the creases. So we were like, I'm a research-based person. Like that's just my background is always research, right? So I was doing some research on different like oils and natural florals and different things that can help. And we came up with an oil called the eczema oil with Amaya Skin, and literally that's all we use on her skin, and it works. So just incorporating different things, changing her diet. So she has her own business, and it's always so funny because I'm like, Amaya, can I borrow a couple dollars? And she's like, no. No, she'll never want to use her money. It's like, girl, go to that piggy bank and let me get a couple dollars. But no.
That's a good point too, because there's so many parents who, they're entrepreneurs and they're getting started and they want to pour into their kids and their visions and their passions as well. What are some things that parents can do to start a brand for their kids also?
Make sure it's something that is, well, for me, the reason we started Amaya Skin is because there was a problem that needed to be solved.
It goes back to that problem.
I knew that there are so many other people, especially melanated skin, that suffer from eczema, whether it's eczema, psoriasis, sunburn, dry skin, whatever that is. So for her business, that kind of fell into our lap because there was a problem that needed to be solved, right? And I was looking for solutions and I couldn't find one. So I decided to create my own. But if you are a mom or a dad or just anybody out there who wants to create a business for your child, make sure it's problem solution based, but also make sure it's something that the child wants to do, not something that the parents want to do for the kids, because the kids won't have fun for it. Like Johnny is in 6th grade. He don't care about starting a trucking business. Like, he might be interested in trucks, but he might not want to start a trucking business. So just making sure we're letting the kids do with something that they like. Because a lot of times parents like to live through the kids. And we're like, no, making sure that it's something that the kids like to do, and then they'll have fun with it. Let them have fun.
That's good. You do something else that I don't think a lot of people know about, and I think more people need it. You work with a lot of college young men that are not just young men, but athletes that are in college.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is 100% needed, especially now that they can actually get brand deals and endorsements.
That's why I said
on the college level.
I feel like I've lived 9 lives. So it's funny because but prior to doing anything in the branding space, I always wanted to go into like the sports space. Like that was something I always loved sports.
I used to want to be a sports agent.
Literally, and my girlfriend would be like, I don't know if you guys used to watch the game, but she used to call me Tasha Mack. She's like, girl, you are Tasha Mack. And it's so funny. I do a lot of branding deals and a lot of stuff for a lot of different athletes, behind the scenes. But again, moving forward, that's one of the things that we want to push more, especially with the whole NIL situation. I got a lot of different things that I'm working on now that we can't really, we're waiting for the black and white to dry. But I'm super, super excited about what that looks like for 2026 and beyond with, different things like one of my clients and sister, Taya Cooper. She's, overseas in China, killing it now. So I'm so proud of her. And we have a lot of different things that we're about to unroll out. But everything for me still falls under the branding space. So this is what I want to tell people. They say the jack of all trades is the master of none. I agree, but I don't agree. Because it's one of those things where everything that I'm doing, whether it's the women's fund, whether it's the community, whether it's the branding, whether it's the PR, whether it's the sports, it all falls kind of under the same niche. So that's the thing with branding is you don't want to kind of be all over the place. You want to make sure that you're an expert in one, and they'll trickle down to whatever else it is. So everything for me is still branding at the end of the day. I'm just doing it with different people, different niches, different communities, and different spaces.
That's good. Because that's something I'm huge on, like finding your one.
People want to
be all over the place. They want to do branding, and then they see that you can be successful with grants, and then they want to do business funding too, and they're like, I'm going to give my branding clients grants and business funding.
Like, it's too much. And I think the issue with that is find out your why. My why and Coach K's why is not the same why, right? So if you find out your why, God is going to align everything else for you. A lot of times the goals and things that we have don't come to fruition is because we're trying to live someone else's story. It's not your story to be told, right? So it's like you're trying to be a character in somebody else's book when God is trying to give you your own book. So we just it's so big and it's so huge, and it's one of those things where we just have to just kind of figure out what that looks like and be an expert in your own space.
That's good. That's really good. I have people to come up to me all the time, and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I just want to make some money. I'm like, you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
It just don't. Yes, there are people making millions of dollars from social media content and challenges and webinars and communities, but we know it's not just about.
It's also a skill.
Money. Yeah,
it's a skill.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
That's a skill. The challenge. Listen, it is a skill, but also I want to touch on that really quick, because that's another reason why you're not successful, is because you're looking at how much money can be made and not how much impact can be made.
Absolutely.
Don't chase the money, chase the impact. Because because at the end of the day, you have a lot of people who make money, but if it's not something that you're passionate about, once you make the money, you're no longer interested in it. Then you're trying to figure out what's next. So you have to figure out where can I have a expertise and it yield longevity for me. Like really, really write down your 3 whys, and out of those 3, say, this one is going to give me the maximum longevity, and kind of go with that. Don't look at, Coach K has awarded X amount of people in grants. I want to make $1 million. I want to be in grants. Like, Dr. Barnes is doing branding for, all these people. Now I want to do branding, kind of figure out what it is. And a lot of times, you guys, people don't give themselves the credit that's due, right? Because people say, well, I'm just a janitor, or I'm just a gym teacher, or I'm just to this. You have to change your mindset. You can't say, I'm just a janitor, I'm just to this, because you're an expert in that space. If you've been doing it for a certain amount of time, if you are a tax professional for the IRS and you work for the IRS for 10 years, you can teach that skill in 7 different ways. You can create a tax code ebook, you can do a webinar, you can do a class, you can do a tax planner for the year from January to December. It's like 7 to 10 different ways in that one niche where you can make money, but that all comes back to the mindset. Because if you're thinking like a consumer and not a high level executive, then that's not going to work for you.
Well, you just gave access. That's like some.
Yeah, I know.
You just
literally. That's what it is.
So what are some things, I know you're huge on that mindset shift.
Oh God, that's so important.
What are some things that I can do if I'm watching this and I'm ready to go in, I'm ready to dive into, being an entrepreneur. Maybe I'm working a 9-to-5 and I just, need to make that shift. What are some things that I can do to shift my mindset to prepare for the entrepreneur journey?
Proximity.
Ooh.
It's the proximity piece. You have to get around people who are smarter than you. You have to get around people who know more than you. You have to get around people who have a little bit more going on than you. And you have to be vulnerable and say, it's okay to go from being the one in the room that knows everything to the one going to the room and being the least known. It's okay to go from being in the room and being popular to allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to be in a space where no one knows who you are. That's okay. And a lot of times what we do is we have this ego about ourselves because, we might be the best at what we do, and then we get in the space and we're not known. And that's okay. You know what I mean? So the proximity piece is going to be huge to change your environment. It's so funny. One of my really good friends this morning on his Instagram story, I was watching his story. He's very, very, very big on mindset as well. And he said, going into the new year, he said, everyone talks about the solutions and things that they want to work on, but no one talks about the things that they want to get rid of. And I was like, oh, that's deep.
That is deep.
That's deep.
Because I'm over here thinking, it's some things I got to get rid of.
So he said, in order for me the best version of me, he created a list. I have to get rid of these things to go into the new year. Because it's not about, the resolution doesn't matter if you still are bringing the problems with you. So we have to get rid of the problems first before we can resolve anything. If we're going into the new year with the same problems, the resolution is never going to happen. So, it's one of those things where proximity and just being real with yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you log out those apps and you close out those phones and you turn those lights on and you look at yourself in the mirror, you know what needs to be done. We have to make this the year of execution. That's the biggest thing.
That's good. Oh, that's so good.
That's the biggest thing.
Girl. Because I'm over here like, wait a minute, I got some stuff
we got some stuff we got to get rid of.
I got some goals I got to accomplish, but wait a minute, there's some stuff I got to let go.
You got to let it go. You gotta let it
Sometimes it might not be stuff. Sometimes it's people.
Sometimes it's people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the closest people. That's the thing.
That's the tough part.
That's the hard part, because when your heart wants what the heart wants, you can't grow. That's the thing. You can't be comfortable and grow. If you really want to grow,
it's uncomfortable.
It's going to be very uncomfortable, and and there's going to be some things said about you that you may not like. Oh, Coach K this, and she thinks she this, or doctor, and that's okay. I have to reach the next level so I can help as many people as possible. So if I have to lose 5 in order to be impactful for 5,000, then that's what I have to do.
That's good.
So I think that's also a piece where we have to look at it in numbers as well. You say, okay, if I have to lose these 10 people in order for me to be impactful for 10,000, then they gotta go.
They gotta go.
They gotta go.
That is so huge. That's big.
Yeah.
Before we go, give me 3 things as an entrepreneur that will help me elevate and go to the next level in 2026.
Okay. 3 things as an entrepreneur. So the first one we just talked about was proximity. Getting in the room, being around people that are smarter than you, right? Another thing is the mindset piece that we always talk about. So proximity, mindset, but always Stephen Covey, one of my favorite books from him is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits is think win-win. So no matter what situation you're in, to always think win-win. So even if it looks like the position is not in your favor, to have a positive mindset on that. So proximity, mindset, and think win-win.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We got to bring you back for part 2.
Yeah, we're going to come back.
We got to do part 2. We got to do part 2.
We're going to come back.
Because we're going to have the community then.
Oh my
we got the AI. We're going to have the AI built out.
Listen,
we're going to be.
We got everything.
Okay.
We got this.
Okay, part 2.
Yes.
All right, let them know where they can find you and how they can connect with you.
All right, you guys. So you can find me everywhere. You can go drbarnes.com, but a lot of people like the social media piece. So I'm on Instagram. It's Ms. MZ Media _Queen. I do respond to DMs. Check me out, and I look forward to just coming back and tapping in with you guys. Super, super excited. Your access has been granted.
All right, you guys, this has been another amazing episode of Access Granted. I want you to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and you know what we do. Share this with 3 other entrepreneurs that you love. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Appreciate it.